Hi, attendees. Thank you so much for joining and welcome once again to our webinar. We're going to begin very, very soon. In the meantime, while we are waiting for more attendees to join this webinar, we'd really appreciate it if you could introduce yourself, your name, your school, your location, the role that you play in your school, and anything that you'd like to share about yourself in the chat window. It just helps us to get to know you better. Thank you once again for joining, and we'll begin shortly. Hi, William. Welcome to the webinar. Good to know that you're an ELCA teacher. Hi, Sameer. Welcome to our webinar. You're joining us all the way from West Bengal. Hi, Naresh ji. Welcome. A lot of people joining us. We should begin in a couple of minutes. We have people joining us from Manipur, Binu from Bangalore, Gladys from Coimbatore. Thank you everyone for joining us. We're going to begin very soon. Anulata from Whitefield, DPS. You're a kindergarten teacher. That's very interesting to know. Okay, so it's 5 minutes past 4. And while I can see that we have people still joining us, I think in the interest of punctuality, we should begin. Everyone, please meet Greshma. Greshma, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll just quickly introduce Greshma before handing over the webinar to her. So Greshma Momaya is a very highly accomplished education leader and parenting expert. She has a rich history of working in the space of children in education for more than 15 years. She's a highly sought after keynote speaker, mentor, and trainer. And she believes in innovating and inventing the best teaching practices and sharing them with educators, school leaders, and parents. She has extensive experience in scripting curricula, in designing learning environments, and in training teachers. And she's trained over 2,500 educators and school leaders. She's currently associated with Prarthana.in World School Bangalore as founding principal. And she holds a bachelor's degree in human development, a postgraduate diploma in school counseling from the University of Mumbai, and a certification from Harvard University in school leadership. So thank you once again, Greshma, for joining us. I'm going to hand over to you now to lead our webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Much. Good evening, everyone. And it's so nice to see all of you from different parts of our country. I mean, I'm just so amazed and to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. I know maybe some of you might be at work just like me, and some of you have reached home, but I really am so grateful that all of you are able to join in today. So let's start in immediately. I will start sharing my screen. So today's topic is little interesting because we are talking about technology, and today we are surrounded by technology, right? So the whole idea is that it's a disclaimer, right? Okay, it's a disclaimer that I am at no point saying that we should replace teachers by technology, but what I'm trying to put across the point is if a teacher uses technology in the right way with the right intention, it can definitely improve student learning. Okay. So also a small tip, I will be sharing a lot of resources, the name of the resources for different topics. So you can note them down when I'm speaking so that you can later on do your research and see if it is useful for you. And at the end of the session, I'm also going to show 4 5 resources. Now, also, all the resources that I'm going to share here, the name of the resources, I have personally used them in my last 10 years of experience, right? And they are, I mean, we have implemented it. I have seen the magic it can do, and that's why I'm sharing with all of you. So, let's begin. The agenda of today's presentation is I'm going to give you easy to implement strategies to enhance, to make your classroom more technologically enhanced, okay, without, spending too much money from your pocket. What are the benefits of interactive technology and certain things to keep in mind when you're using technology, right? So that's the agenda, very quick one. And I'll try to kind of wrap up by in 45 minutes. So what's in your classroom? So what I want you to do is, if you are in your classroom right now, look around. If you are not in your classroom, close your eyes for 30 seconds, okay? And note down the top three tools or resources that you are currently using in your teaching. It need not be technology related at all. Okay. But apart from technology, what are the other top three tools or resources that you frequently use in your classroom? Please write it in the chat box and take 30 seconds to visualize your classroom. Can we now have answers popping up if you have finished visualizing your classroom? What are the top three, even one if you can tell me? Chalk, duster, blackboard, yes, of course. Charts, images, whiteboard, chalkboard, children, yeah. Teacher, okay. Okay. Green board, facial expression, lovely. Thank you, Anulata. Pointer, dustbin, bulletin board, lack of space. Okay. Okay. Great. So now just imagine, I picked some from the chat box like chalk, the board, or the chart. I would pick up chart or images. Imagine if it is kind of collaborated or used along with the technology, it will give a lot of twist in the way you teach. Okay. So the idea is that yes, we want to keep our children more engaged, more motivated, more ready to learn. But like Nidhi Kumari is saying, bulletin board. How about having an interactive bulletin board, right? So that's what we are going to share with all of you today, right? So let's look at the next picture. Now, see, think, wonder is also one of the visible thinking routine. You can note it down. There is something called visible thinking routine. It is one of the pedagogy. Okay, so I'm using one of the strategy from visible thinking routine. So my first question is, you have to write in the chat box, what do you see in this picture? Just see. Do not assume, do not think, do not wonder, do not predict. Just what you see in this picture. Please write it in the chat box. Interaction, children teacher tab, peer discussion, happy children engaged in the content, teacher is showing something, yes. Okay, great. Second question, curiosity, collaboration. Okay, now what do you think is happening in this picture? What do you think? So it could be your assumption, your prediction. Like some of the answers are also, what do you think? For example, I read it somewhere. Students are engaged to see a tablet. Okay. Okay, teacher is showing the kids something new. Okay. Now, showing video, yes. Sharing opinion, yes. Students are watching some video or PPT on the tablet. Okay, fair. So that's what you think. Now, what do you wonder about this picture? What do you wonder? What is the curiosity? What are the questions popping up into your mind when you see this picture? What do you wonder? Teacher is explaining something and questioning about topic and students are answering. Okay. Using technology in the classroom, I believe there is no such. Okay. Students are interested towards that. Okay. Students have questions based on why children are able to identify what is shown. Okay. So what I see in this image is I only see that uh, one child is pointing at the tablet, teacher is showing something, and I see one child's mouth is open. That's what I see. Okay, what do I think about this picture is that, oh, how is everyone, what is teacher showing them that they are so engaged? Okay, and what I wonder about this image is, how can I have my students in my classroom so engaged in learning? Okay, so that's about it. Thank you for sharing all your thoughts. Okay, let's move on. So let's understand, before we move ahead, what is the traditional teaching and learning and what is teaching and learning with technology. So in traditional teaching and learning, there are a lot of physical learning materials and equipments like your paper, your pen, your chalkboard, your charts, everything comes into it. Now, in technology, when the teaching and learning is happening with technology, there is wider access to education materials and information. There is no limit to it, right? In traditional teaching, there is limited access to educational materials and information. So we generally follow by the textbook or the guide, right? Whereas in technology, when you use technology, there are more available channels and tools for communication as well as for collaboration also. So it's not just for teaching, but also when you want children to communicate and collaborate. In traditional teaching, the teaching and learning typically occurs in an in-person classroom setting. Whereas with technology, it enables more personalized kind of learning for students. So let us look at some of the strategies that you can use to set up a, sorry, Yes, to set up a tech-enhanced classroom. The first strategy, which is very simple, is to identify the interactive tools for learning. So this is one of the most simplest way to start, integrating technology in your classroom. So you don't have to go overboard. But yes, there are tools like, of course, Kahoot, Quiz, Poll that you can use. And apart from that, let me show you the next slide. Yes, for every aspect of the classroom, there are tools. So if you are looking at audiobooks, okay, if you want to share information beyond just the textbooks, you can also look at audiobooks. So LibriVox, the name that you see on the screen, LibriVox can be used for audiobooks, and Kitcasts can be used for podcast. When it comes to virtual field trips, why restrict children only to field trips in your surroundings, in the vicinity of your school? So Google Arts and Culture is such an amazing, it's a free product that you can use for virtual field trips. And of course, National Geographic channel also have virtual field trips. Even you can give you can also get, if you're doing animals concept, you can give live what do you say, live images and live clip arts of what is happening in the zoos around the world. So even that is possible. Then if you are looking at mini lessons, okay, so what happens with YouTube is, if it's not a premium one, then there are a lot of ads, and sometimes there are inappropriate ads that come into picture when you are playing the videos. So teacher tube is an amazing product tool that you can use. There are lots of videos for teachers for mini lessons. You can also use TED-Ed. That is also an amazing tool that you can use. I'll show some of this at the end, how to navigate through it. Then if you're looking at classroom management, Class Dojo is one of the tool that you can use, and also bouncy balls. So you can even take a screenshot of this screen if you want to, so that the names are there with you. Great. Let's go back to a slide. Second is flipped classroom approach. What is flipped classroom? In a regular classroom, what happens is the teacher is explaining the concept, right? Then the children are doing hands-on activities, and then they move to writing worksheet or in the workbook or in the notebook. So that's the general pattern. Now, what is flipped classroom approach is that children study the material, the topic that you are going to introduce in the classroom. The material is viewed by children at home. Okay, so which means through articles, through videos. If you are teaching fractions or you are talking about any history topic, you can share the video with children at home. So children can watch that video. And then when they come next day into the classroom, you engage them with the hands-on activities, and then of course go to the writing. So what happens is, in classroom, you get lot of time to do hands-on activities, to do discussions, to do debates, which are so important. Now, today what happens is, in the rush of finishing the portion, we explain the concept, but we don't get time to understand that if the children have understood the concept or not, because there's no time. So you can use Google Classroom, you can use Edpuzzle, right? Edpuzzle is also an amazing resource that you can use for classroom approach. So you can do your research about flipped classroom, because it is very beneficial. As a teacher, you will get a lot of time in the classroom to do hands-on activities and to do discussions.
Thanks,
Next.
Greshma. So,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but you were speaking about research and trying to better understand technologies. So, maybe now is like the perfect time to just quickly do a check with our attendees. We have a very short poll that we'd like to serve our attendees.
Oh, lovely.
I request everyone to please participate. We essentially want to understand which aspect of a tech-enhanced classroom do you believe has the most potential to improve student learning in your school? So please, everyone, do participate. We really want to know your views on the subject.
Lovely.
Please do continue to vote. We'd really like to understand your views on tech in the classroom. Okay, this is really interesting. So, Grishma, I don't know if you can see the results, but 43% believe that interactive audio-visual content has high potential,
Yes.
followed by real-time performance tracking and assessments, followed by, of course, teacher upskilling. We understand how important that is. So this is really interesting.
Yes. Thank you.
Back to
Thank you for
you.
this poll. Okay. So collaboration with technology. Now, I think we always come across, when it comes to collaboration, we also come across children who are not ready to participate. They know everything, but they are shy or they are introvert and they do not want to participate. So if you are having, say, 4 collaboration activities in a month, okay, what you can do is maybe 2 or 3 you can have the physical collaboration, but one activity in a month can be through technology. So what happens is the children who are on the quieter side and who are not willing to contribute, in front of everyone, you will also be able to understand those children better, and those children would be able to contribute in the group work, right? So you can use resources like Padlet for this, where there are small, small sticky notes and everyone can type their thoughts into it, which I'll show you at the end of the session. So collaboration through technology, because I have also experienced that there are some children who are just not ready to open up. You give them any duty in that group work, but they are really not kind of wanting to contribute. So I feel platforms like even Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams or Padlet can be used for a collaborative project. Gamification to boost engagement. We all know how much children love games, right? We know how much they look forward to playing games. Now, gamification has now become the buzzword and also become one type of pedagogy, right? So, integrating gamification in your curriculum will just make it more engaging for children. So what you can do is, you don't have to again go all out, but you can start by introducing a point system through technology, wherein students will earn badges for completing their task or participating in the classroom or in the discussion. So you will be amazed to see how much they become motivated when the badges come into the picture, right? There are also some tools.
Since
Yes.
since you're speaking about gamification, we have a
Yes.
question from Syed.
Okay.
Syed would like to know, okay, there are some parents who are very stubborn about not giving mobiles to their kids.
Huh.
And what should one do in such a situation?
So one thing is that I think setting a clear communication with the parent at the beginning of the year is important. That in our school we integrate technology in our classrooms, in our curriculum. So once a week we will be sending some audio visual material for children to learn, and it will be used in the classroom as a discussion. So in our school also, we, not all parents are really open about using technology, but we have given them clear guidelines on how to make children use it. Now I am not amazed, and there will be, I think I can vouch that there will be not even a single household, if that household has a child, the child will be using the mobile. So the day you are sending any audiovisual material at home, you can ask parents to not make the child see any other videos or watch any other kind of screen. And that day of the week, you can dedicate it to share resources with them. Okay. Yes. Can I move on?
Yes, please do. We do have another question, but I'll save it for later. Thank you.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So, gamification, for gamification, there are tools like Classcraft, which you can use, or there's also Minecraft education that you can use. So these are the two tools that you can use for gamification.
And I
Yes,
think that answers a question we had from Prerna. She was asking which app did you say for gamification and how to get badges?
great. Okay.
Greshma, Binu George Matthew had a point of view. Binu saying that exposing kids to more screen time makes them sedentary and results in vision issues. How does one handle that?
Okay, I have a question. I have a counter question. Do you think that children are not using technology even now, even if you don't send the resources? They are using it, right? So I think when I come to my last segment where I say things to keep in mind, I'll be addressing that point, balancing screen time. So I will answer that question at the end if you don't mind. Yeah. Okay. Great. So, last is enhancing assessment with technology. Now, assessment can be too tedious for children as well as for teachers, especially for teachers, where they have to create the question papers, then see the rubrics, and then create report card. So it's a lot of process, right? So we can enhance assessments with technology. So of course, one simplest way of creating question papers is using Google form, right? You can also use Socrative, you can also use Plickers. They are excellent for quick assessments and also giving them feedback back to children. So these are some of the tools that you can use for assessment. So, yeah, this slide I've already discussed. So, benefits of interactive technology. What do you think are the benefits of interactive technology? Can you put it in the chat box before I move on? Students are more engaged. Yes. Motivated to learn. Okay. Better retention. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Easy to understand, clear picture of concepts. Okay. Great. Let's look at the benefits of interactive technology for teachers, how technology helps teachers do their work. So, of course, it allows teachers to be more flexible. So, what happens in some of our classrooms is we all know that we have different types of learners in our class, right? So, if we are doing a particular topic, what we will do is we will in our lesson plans we will add an audio book for it or a podcast. We'll also add a video for it. We will also add a kinesthetic activity related to it, and we will also add a reading article, some reading materials related to the topic. So what as a teacher you are actually doing is you are making the learning personalized using the technology. Yes, so that gives teacher flexibility to use more different teaching methods and tools to suit the lessons and the students. It helps teachers connect more with students because, like I said, there are some children who are not comfortable talking one on one with, physically with teacher. So also giving them an alternative sometimes to demonstrate their work or to communicate, to express their thought through technology. And of course, technology also allows more access to teachers for more resources. So teachers are able to find a lot of additional and updated learning resources that can help them with their work. So that's the benefit for the teachers. Let's look at
Greshma,
how technology. Yes.
Sorry. So we have a question, actually more of a statement from Anulata Sharma.
Okay.
Anulata is asking, rather stating that technology is important in a classroom, but for early learners, it becomes a distraction due to virtual autism. And I think self-talking these days, she's identifying as a big concern for teachers and parents. What does one do about that?
Okay, I am going to address this at the last.
At the end.
Yes,
Okay.
it's there in my things to keep in mind. Okay, great. So technology allows for more personalized learning for children. It improves students' communication skill to an extent, and also helps students prepare for the future because they are exposed to more and more technology and more resources across the globe. So let's look at, I like this quote. Technology is an effective tool that can make education more meaningful and engaging for teachers and students alike. Yes, it's true, and I'm not disputing it. But I also feel that we should keep certain things in mind when we are making our classrooms more technologically enhanced. Okay, so the first one is purpose driven. Now, here one thing that we need to keep in mind is we did not use technology just for the sake of it because the principal has told or the director has told or the nep is telling us to do, or it is like easily available, or it is like trendy, it makes you sound 21st century educated. No, what we need to keep in mind is that we need to align our technology or the usage of our technology with our learning objectives. There are so many things that you cannot show children physically sitting in your classroom. Do not, then for that you can use technology. I'll give you an example. For example, earlier, kindergarten, I saw that there were some kindergarten teachers. Now, um, example, like if you are introducing concept like fruits, vegetables, that you can definitely show it physically, right? Agree? Because we can buy it from the market and show it to the children. But when it comes to wild animals, right, or how they move in their habitat, we can't only rely on flashcards. So for that, can we organize a virtual field trip to a zoo? Sometimes the zoos are not available also in the vicinity of the school, or there are other logistical issues. So for that, can we use a virtual field trip, right? So what I am trying to put across a point is, if the usage of technology is aligned with your learning objectives, I think it makes it purposeful and meaningful. I have seen teachers using technology, especially in early years, for vegetables, for fruits, for numbers, for alphabets. We need not do that. We are teachers are there for it. The things that you cannot show them, if you have to show them volcanoes, or you have to show them how actually the mountains are, or Antarctica is, please use technology for it, because you can't take children outside your classroom physically. Yes. Second is balancing the screen time. Now, I have seen sometimes that the concept or the topic starts with a video. Okay. I would say we can, how we can balance the screen time is, you can always use videos for flipped classroom approach, where the video is only for 7 or 8 minutes. One option. Second option is that you can use it as a recap, which could also time to about 5 to 7 minutes a week. Okay, so balancing the screen time becomes a little important, and you can use technology for the things that you cannot show children, or for the experiences that you cannot show or make children experience in your classroom. And I think here collaboration of teachers is important, because sometimes what happens is a math teacher is also using technology, same day your science teacher is also using, your English teacher is also using. So the collaboration of teacher becomes important, where we segregate, like, we keep it into a regular intervals instead of everyone showing it on the same day. Okay. Technical support and preparedness. Again, what happens is technology can act very funny as soon as everything would work fine. But as soon as we go to the classroom, the technology doesn't work. So I think preparedness and, using technology before you get into the classroom is important. Digital distraction, sorry. Digital distraction. Wherein, what is digital distraction? Wherein, especially when you see YouTube, right? You have those different pop-ups coming in, right? So that's why it's important for educators to use interactive tools like teacher tube, which I've shared earlier, or TED or National Geographic channel, wherein these external pop-ups don't come and there is no distraction, right? Also, we need to keep, when you are creating your lesson plan for the week, you have to be very mindful of how many minutes are you going to use technology. And when I say screen time, it involves all the technological tools that you're using, not just the YouTube videos. So the ideal time to use in a week, in the entire week, could be around 20 to 25 minutes, which is staggered. I have also seen teachers, even when she's teaching, that the whiteboard, the smart board behind is kept on. So unknowingly, what we're doing is we are giving more and more screen time to children. So use the smart board only when you are not talking, so that there's no distraction for children. Okay.
That's
And of
that's
course,
actually really
yes,
interesting. And on that note, Greshma, we'll just run another quick poll,
sure.
just to do a pulse check with our attendees. I think we're waiting for the poll to be served.
I'm not able to, I don't know if I was able to answer the question for.
Yeah, actually, sorry. So while we wait for the poll to be served, there are a couple more questions. Yeah. So Binu is asking, is using a projector is better? And actually also at the same time sort of answering his own question by saying that using a projector is better to mitigate screen time.
Yes, of course, if I have to compare usage of projector to the tab, I think using of projector is always better because the screen is bigger. But again, I think it all depends on your time limit and the duration.
All right. So,
Yes.
Greshma, just give us a second. We ran into a slight technical glitch, but we're launching the poll, the second one, just away. Right.
Yes, I think you can do that until then. It's here.
Here we are.
Yes.
How prepared do you feel your school is to implement a comprehensive tech-enhanced learning system that aligns with NCF 2023 guidelines? I'd request the audience to please share how prepared they feel they are. I think it'll also give Greshma a good sense
Yes.
of the kind of challenges school owners are dealing with nowadays.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think maybe another 5 seconds. Interesting.
Yeah.
42% very prepared, an equal percentage somewhat prepared, and
Right. Yes.
16% not prepared.
Yeah, that was an interesting poll. Great. Thank you. So I think the last point to keep in mind is, of course, the student safety and privacy. So even if you're giving any research work to children, to your students, please ensure that there are these safe search engines, especially for children. I'm not able to recollect the name. But Google also has that setting which makes it a safe search engine for children. If even if you Google it, safe search engines for children, you will get a list of it. And then you can share it with the parents and share it with the students. It's very important. One thing that I have followed for so many years is, before we introduce anything to children, first we try ourselves, just to ensure that the safety is there, whatever tool we are using. Secondly, we keep parents informed, so that they can also monitor the children at home, that they are using the safe search engine. And also, there is a website called Common Sense Educator. You can take note it down. I'll repeat: Common Sense Educator. They have lesson plans, ready lesson plans from kindergarten 2 to up till grade 10, where you can teach children through their lesson plan on how to keep themselves safe and how to maintain their privacy in the internet world. So I think before you introduce, if your primary children or middle school children are using technology as part of their research and projects, it's important that you train them for the safety and privacy. When it comes to early years and maybe grades, the foundational years, I'm sure they are not using the technology per se, but when you are selecting the tools, you need to ensure that these unwanted ads don't pop up, even on the normal, not just YouTube but other tools also. These pop-ups don't come in when you are showing videos to children or you are using the tool to children. So yes, that's the last segment. We need technology in every classroom and in every student and teacher's hand, because it is the pen and paper of our, and it is the lens through which we experience much of our world. Having said that, I am not disputing the importance of writing. Writing is important, and you cannot, technology cannot replace writing, technology cannot replace teachers, but it can only enhance the experience of the students. Yes. So I will leave you all with those thoughts. Okay. I think I'll just take 2 minutes now to share the different tools. Okay. So first one is, one second. Okay. So I was talking about the Padlet for collaboration. So I used it for one of my workshop, for a physical workshop. This was not an online workshop. This was a physical workshop. So teachers also, when you do the training, there are some teachers who are not comfortable speaking in public. So you can use these tools to motivate those teachers and students in your school. So this is Padlet. You will see the name on the left. Okay. I'll stop sharing. Please note it down: Padlet for collaboration. Next is, I was talking about Teacher Tube, right? For mini lessons. So this is how it looks. There are no ads. Yes. And there are, grade wise, they have videos that you can play with children. Okay. Stop sharing. Then we have for audiobook and podcast. So this one is the podcast only for kids, where you have all the podcasts for children at one place. Yes. So you can use this KidCasts. I hope you are noting it down. And then, of course, I think the Google virtual filter for Google. So depending on the topic, you can choose. There are stories also. Yeah, this is an amazing tool. stop sharing. And I think I missed one point for classroom management. No, I covered it, but there is one tool which is called bouncy balls. I'll just share it. Basically, this is to what you can do is you can keep it on. This is for children to understand the noise level in their classroom. So if you have 30, 40 children in a classroom, you can keep this on when there is a discussion going on, or when there is even an independent work. If there is too much of noise, this will show you. Right now, there is no noise, so it's not showing up. But yeah, that's how. So there are different things. There are numbers also. Okay, so they will bounce up when the noise levels go up, and then you can also make it as a game where you say that, okay, if the noise levels go till the end of the screen, then you do your team does not get points. So you can even do gamification and manage your classroom. Yes, so I hope you found these resources useful. Most of them are free. Only Padlet you get you have free, but you then after a point you have to also make the payment. So Padlet is not free, but rest all the resources are free.
Thanks so much, Greshma. So I'd request everyone who's attending, I'm sure you still have some questions about the use of technology in your classrooms and how it can make your schools and classrooms better. So I'd request all our attendees to please add their questions either in the chat or in the Q&A window. And while you're thinking up your questions and putting them in the chat, I'll just quickly walk our audience through a little bit about Lead Group, the organization that I represent. Thanks, Rohit. Can we go full screen? Thanks so much. So very quickly, I look into brand and communications at Lead Group. We are India's largest and fastest growing school edtech. Our vision is to make excellent education accessible for every child in India. And of course, we were established about 12 years ago by our co-founders Smita Dura and Sumit Mehta. And we currently work with about 35 lakh students in 8,000 plus schools across 400 towns and cities of India. And that means that we're also working with about 50,000 teachers across the country. On the screen right now, you'll see the four brands that we bring to schools. I'll just quickly take a step back to explain that right now we work with all segments of schools across the country. So irrespective of where you are, irrespective of the kind of challenge that you're facing as a school, Lead Group will be more than happy to help you. And in the following slides, I'll just quickly walk us through the kind of solutions that Lead Group has for schools across India. Next slide, please. So, of course, we bring to our schools world-class books from the house of Pearson. I'm sure we've all heard of Pearson. But very importantly, we recognize that classrooms need to be multimodal as per the NCF 2023 and also NEP 2020. So we also digitalize classrooms by bringing in audiovisual learning with TVs in each classroom. And we also understand that students learn differently, and therefore, in addition to books and audiovisual media, we also offer deeply researched student kits. So, how can students do activities in the classroom to learn their subjects? That's also something we cover. The next slide, please. All right. So, Elga, I think someone on the chat mentioned very early in this conversation that they were an Elga teacher. So, Elga is one of our flagship programs. Elga is basically a way to teach children the English language as a skill. And of course, we understand that learning needs to be holistic and needs to, at some level, also go beyond the classroom. So skills like, collaboration, communication, confidence. We also bring exclusive master classes for all our students across India, where they have exposure to celebrities and experts in different fields and walks of life. All right. I mentioned, in fact, even Greshma was talking about technology in the classroom and the different resources that the modern classroom of today should have. So, Lead Group offers teacher tabs with inbuilt lesson plans. The idea is that we want to help teachers focus on what they do best, which is teaching, and take away, all the other administrative hassles. Of course, for our teachers, we also offer self-paced certification and in-person training sessions, because we understand that in order to teach, teachers also need to continuously upgrade throughout the year. So this is also included in our offering. Jasper is a very exciting product from the Lead Group. Using Jasper, we essentially bring AI-powered assessments to your classrooms. So as you can see on the screen, you can use it to serve unit, mid-year, and end-year assessments. You can modify the assessments to suit your needs, your classroom needs on rigor and topics. And of course, it's all integrated within the teacher app so that teachers in Lead Group classrooms are able to seamlessly serve these assessments to their students. All right. So as school owners, we're sure you want a good view and a holistic view of what is happening within your classrooms at the academic level, at the school administration level. So this is where Lead's academic ERP comes into the picture. It offers you complete visibility of your student and teacher performance. Of course, there are digital assessments and real-time assessments and real-time insights on student performance. And we make it possible for you to continuously stay in touch and engage parents, because we know how important it is for you to do that all year through. When you sign up with us, we will help you set up an experience hub. What that basically means is that parents can walk into your school and experience what a Lead classroom can be like, right? We also offer teacher orientation sessions for your teachers, partly to train them on our curricula, but also to sort of help them address any questions your parents might have. And also we offer training to your admissions coordinators to run parent orientation sessions. And that's pretty much it. If you'd like to partner with us, if you'd like for us to help you with any kind of challenge that you're facing as a school owner, the numbers on the screen in front of you. You could also email us. You could visit our website. And in the meantime, just checking, do we have any questions? Right. There are a bunch of questions actually, but Greshma, I just wanted to ask you something at my end. Veenu has a couple more questions, and I'll come to that. But what is it that inspired you, to take up the topic of technology in the classroom, and how do you see it evolving going forward?
So, see, whatever said and done, let's be very honest that the children are surrounded by technology. I'm so sorry. I was reading an article or a research report by, I guess, UNESCO or UNICEF, one of them,
Okay.
where they had mentioned that initially, sorry, when radio came into the picture, radio was invented. People said, "Oh, that if you start using radio, it will hamper your sleep."
Yeah.
Okay, And it was because there were some people who were, because it was new, they were listening to radio for long hours, which was hampering their sleep. There's no two way about it. So that's why I think using it mindfully is important instead of getting scared. One, and second, I think getting the right content is important. So for me, I have observed that yes, whenever I've done any webinars related to 21st century skills, and when technology comes into the picture, these questions do crop up. That, you know, children are surrounded by technology. So if we are in a school also, if we are showing technology, then what is the difference? Then parents can make them, you know, sit at home and watch the video and they learn it. But my message to everyone, and why I always choose technology related concept, is only very simple. The things and the experience you cannot show it to your students, please use technology.
So,
It's as basic as that.
thanks, Greshma. There are a couple of questions actually. Prema is asking, are there any effective tools for teaching history?
I think I have answered that, saying TeacherTube has a lot of history videos also.
Okay. And also, Binu George Matthew is asking, sedentary lifestyle, screen time are problems with tech in specific, especially for schools that use interactive panels and smart boards. Should it be introduced to kids at a school level, especially where a school is visualized as one of the few sources of good information and practices?
Okay, I'm not exactly clear with the question, but I think what one question was, at what age or at what school level should we introduce interactive panels? I think even if you are using it from early years, I'm okay with it. Having said that, the balance, the time and the duration, if kept in mind, it can be even introduced at early levels, because as simple as wild animals in early years, we cannot show them the habitat of wild animals, like through picture. How much will the child understand, right? So for that you can use the interactive panel.
Got it. Thanks so much. We have some questions coming in about lead group and how we can help schools. I would request you to please call the number on the screen. We have a dedicated team that is available to answer any questions you might have. You could also email us on the email ID which is mentioned on the screen in front of you. Also, my colleague Rohit has put up a survey link. We really both, I think Grishma and us, we'd really like to know how you felt about the webinar, what kind of questions you'd like to ask us. So do please go ahead and fill the survey link. Thank you so much. Thank you, Grishma. It was a pleasure having you host our webinar, and good luck and have a great rest of the week.
Thank you. Thank you for having me for the session. Thank you everyone for joining in.
Thank you.
Good day.
Bye.